fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rid of the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up to
Oh my god! Oh. Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, here we go! Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
This is the world's premier online racing simulation. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat from your home computer with the most realistic online motorsports experience you'll find anywhere. Race virtually in the world's biggest events with officially licensed series, cars, and tracks. From the high banks of Daytona to the blistering speeds of Indianapolis, the dirt of Eldora to the world's most legendary road courses. It's all here, and with more than 180,000 people just like you already driving, you'll always have someone to race. Ready to get behind the wheel? Sign up at iRacing.com to get started.
Welcome everyone back to SimSpeed TV as we return on a Saturday evening for us here in Australia for the 10th round of the 2022 Majors Series. And well, as you might be able to see here, we depart the asphalt that we've been seeing in both road and oval form for the past couple of weeks and head to the dirt at Weedsport Speedway for the modified Mayhem this weekend. And here in the international region, it's the dirt UMP modified that will be the chariot of choice for our drivers in this race this evening. My name is Daniel Yeaman, Jay Kennedy on production for this evening, and well, we hopefully will be joined by Reese Gardner in a couple of minutes, but there's a to be confirmed, I guess, asterisk on that one. So, well, might hear Jay on the microphone this evening a little bit unexpectedly, but we'll see how we go for this one tonight. We take a look here at the track map in a moment's time. Weedsport Speedway here, located upstate New York, if I'm not mistaken, from that position, although unfortunately my American geography might be a bit dodgy, although I'm told I have got that one figured out correctly. So yay for score on that one there as we zoom on down to the speedway itself here. 600 meters or 3/8 of a mile, and well, it's a very interesting circuit. I did a couple of laps in test drive whilst we're here waiting for the action to begin, and it's an interesting one. That an asymmetrical oval configuration, very flat, not too much banking to work with here, but got some decent width to allow you to take some very different lines throughout the corners here tonight. And of course, different lines with the evolving track state will be something to watch out for this evening here at Weedsport. As we watch the drivers here in the background, currently inside the final 7.5 minutes of practice, let's walk through how things will go for tonight. So 10 lap heat races for this one this evening, and top 4 will advance directly to the feature of that one. Then our B mains tonight, well, we're expecting we will only actually have one B main, although several are configured for this evening. It's just based on the numbers we've got here in the session tonight. It's actually going to be a 15 lap B main I'm seeing here in the server, so apologies there. The graphic doesn't quite match up. It says 20 laps. But winner from that one will advance. Well, then again, we're expecting everyone from the B main will advance to fill out the grid For the A main, the feature race, 75 laps for that one there. And the all-important note there that the track state will be reset back to 35% for the short warm-up immediately prior to the A main. So will change a little bit perhaps from what we're seeing here at the moment in the final couple of minutes of practice, given it's been 2 hours almost up until this point to allow these drivers to get their final laps in. Turning our attention now to the championship standings, and well, here in the majors, of course, there are 2 divisions of drivers to keep our eye on, as well as the fact that we've also got the various regions, and here we're covering the international region drivers. There is the pro division first up, of course, and well, it's been back and forth between several drivers, but Robert Northway, the driver at the top of those standings for now. You can see there a 46-point margin. Isn't all that much, though. Back to Sam Harper in second place, so bad night for either one of them tonight. Could certainly see that order change between them once again. Thomas Hinz in third place, only 117 points off of Northway in the lead as well. And whilst I think I heard some chatterings from Hinsey that he wasn't feeling all too confident about his pace on the dirt here tonight, certainly don't count him out here this evening. He's been around long enough to know how to steer a car or two. And looking over here at the sportsman division, our second class of drivers for majors action this evening is Dave Trevethan, who's got himself up into the championship lead of that category here in the international region, but it's very close indeed, just 11 points separating himself from Josh Robertson in second place, and Julian Mookie not too far back there in third place, only 46 points behind Trevethan for the lead. And on top of that, you've also got Chaston Teets only 60 points back there in fourth place, looking nice and tight here, even if you look all the way down to the back end of the top 10 here in the sportsman category for the international region of the major series so far in 2022. Well, 3.5 minutes of time remaining about here in practice, so let's just allow the drivers here to complete the last couple of laps, listen in to the cars as they go around. But of course, one final thing before we do mention that, of course, the major series continuing to support great charitable causes across the year. And for the modified Mayhem this weekend, the supported charity is Rise Above the Disorder, and great mental health care service that is as they say themselves, on a mission to make mental health care accessible to everyone everywhere. So kudos to the team at the major series for working or supporting Rise Above the Disorder for this weekend's racing. Well, with that all said and done, it's just under 3 minutes to go, and even 2.5 minutes now until we get to a short qualifying session to set the times and set the heats for this race tonight. We've currently got 27 drivers in the server, and it's fairly evenly split between the pro and sportsman divisions this evening. So all out here on track in the international region tonight for one big race. We're also informed it should be 27 cars make it through to the feature, pardon me, which means that we'll see everyone once the top 4 from our heats, which we're expecting about 3 heats tonight, progress through. Then everyone else will be sent to the B main, and that will set the rest of the grid for that A main feature race later on this evening. Just checking in there with, I think that's Hayden Kirk. It is indeed, yep, in the number 24 machine, and brings it round turns 1 and 2 here at Weedsport. And see here, these dirt UMP modified cars, obviously very asymmetrical setup configuration to allow them, of course, to turn left. You can see here it doesn't want to stop turning left as he has that steering wheel on some margin all the way down the straight, and having to really crank that one on there to get it to straighten back on up here as he then brings it around turns 3 and 4 and back onto the front straight once again. Does a 17.2 that time around there in particular. Is a little way off the pace from what Kirk has done so far this evening, and also what has been done earlier on in the session, but I'm going to chalk that one up to the track state being, well, pretty well worn in at this point in time. Just under a minute to go now before we get to the qualifying phase of the session for this evening. radio feed. Small technical issue there, although I am informed that it has fixed itself back up and is now coming through as it should. So now hopefully get the sound of these, well, maybe utilitarian perhaps is the word to make it for these guys. Straightforward sheet metal outer panels, big hunking V8 motor up the front, near that front axle, and a lot of horsepower to make those rear wheels spin up as well. Not long now until qualifying begins, 5 seconds to be precise, until we'll get this all underway. And, well, allow these drivers to show us what they can do here on the track as it currently is, and who will be the drivers to make it in to the opening heat for this one tonight. This is your practice top 10. Robert Northway, championship leader in Pro Class, also gets himself the fastest time in the practice session, a 15.292, although that was certainly at a better track when the track was at a better state. Daniel Stevens in second, not too far behind there, only inside a tenth and a half. Certainly not shabby. And then Nick McMillan, the fastest of our sportsman drivers in practice, at least there, at 3.5 tenths back. Shane Bowen there at P4. Garen Batten the next of the sportsmen for fifth outright. Gavin Barber makes it 4 pros inside the top 6. Phil Otter there, third of the sportsmen. And, well, we'll leave it there for that one. As qualifying's underway, and Jay Kennedy will join me in the behind the mic for this one this evening. And, well, it's our first dirt race. Well, it's my first dirt race with you here on SimSpeed, Jay, and certainly will be an interesting one to watch how the heats and the qualifying times in particular play out as these drivers get their chance to do 4 laps here. So this won't take too long, even though they've got 5 minutes to do it.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, this event. I mean, there's so many drivers that we know are great at dirt. There's so many that are great on the road that are just going to be thrown in there as well. So it's a very different beast. It's going to be interesting to see how it all comes together. Very interesting dynamic with the likes of former World of Outlaws World Championship driver Cameron Dance, for a reigning series champion out there. He should be one of the favourites, but Robert Northway has been very competitive in dirt in the past, as has Shane Bowen and Alexander Sheridan. Got a few Euros that are coming, and Dan Stevens always there or thereabouts in every single event. Dirt is one of his favourites to do, but he's going to have a little bit of work to do. Hayden Kirk, currently the pace setter. Dean Mole having a little bit of trouble getting a lap connected, but Cameron Dance is about to start a flying lap.
Well, let's see what the man can do. And, well, as I said, has some solid experience on the dirt. Slides himself up into second place at 15.914. Not enough to dislodge Hayden Kirk, though, so he'll want to try and push it here. Although he aborts his second lap there. We'll have time to do a couple more runs as Nick McMillan. See here, the number 8 machine. Indeed, still our fastest sportsman driver at the moment, but doesn't quite have the lead that we saw he got in practice.
Josh Wolf's just gone equal first, tied for time. We're slotting the second, being the second to do the time. Zach Kruger, one of our Euro ring-ins. All the drivers from each region are able to participate in every event this weekend. So with a few extras coming along for the ride this weekend, help boost the field out. It'll be interesting to see where they slot in with our regulars.
Good point to make there, indeed, and being also one of the wild card rounds for the major series. Well, they're all here at Weedsport this weekend, but different dirt oval cars in use. The Dirt UMP modified here at the moment for these guys in the international region. But if you were talking about the European division, you're looking at team drivers in the Dirt 358 modified machine. And if you're talking about the Americas division, they're off racing the Big Block modified later on this weekend for their races, as Dance throws his car back into the pits. So not quite happy with that one. And, well, that is going to be his qualifying session done. But whilst I was talking about it all, Jay, he did indeed take himself up to the top. Not much in it, though, between those top 3 at the very least, let alone, though, the top 5 looking nice and close together here so far this evening.
Yeah, nothing in it at all. The top, between the top 3 cars, even the top 5, all very, very close. Cameron Dance, no surprise to see him at the pointy end. The field's still a minute to go, but it looks like everyone has done their laps from what I can see. Zach Kruger might be the only one that could make a little bit of a change, but top 9 all pro drivers. The rest are all a little bit mixed up. Kirk and Wolf, they'll start on pole for their heat races. Coming up soon, believe it will be 3 heats of 9 cars with the top 4 automatically advancing. Then from there, the rest of the field will go into a B main, which will set the field for the remainder of the race, the remainder of the grid for the A main. I got it out eventually.
True there indeed. Well, we do find someone who is still lapping. Robert Northway. In fact, 15.794.
Oh, he's just gone P1.
It does indeed. So there's the one driver who went for as late as he could in the session. The number 4 championship leader currently in the Pro Division gets his car just ahead of Cameron Dance and puts himself up to the front. And how about that? 4 thousandths of a second is all there was between them. And indeed, as you said there, Jay, 9 drivers taking to each heat. So we can now start walking you through the grid here for heat number 1 of 3 in the international region for modified Mayhem at the majors. And indeed, with that last gasp pole run there, it is going to be Robert Northway who will get the inside of the front row here tonight. He's sharing that, I should say, with Joshua Wolf in the number 12 in Sim, but custom car number 314 will be the one to watch out for Wolf here tonight. Alexander Sheridan lines up in 3rd place for Kinetic Avatar Racing. He has a teammate Nick McMillan alongside one of the Kinetic Avatar cars, and then Thomas Hinz in the 53 sharing row number 3 with Matt Chalker in the 76 machine. Behind them, it'll be Sam Harper on the inside of the 4th row with Chasten Teets alongside, and then Dave Trevethan in the 521 to round out this first group of drivers here for heat number 1. 10 laps of racing per heat here, Jay. Going to be fast and furious to say the least, and indeed, track looking quite a lot nicer now than it was during that practice run. And thanks to the power of the overlays, we can show you there with a very simple divide up where your top 4 currently stands in this race. Obviously, 2 pacing laps here before we get this one underway, and then we let these guys rip for heat number 1 here tonight.
Yeah, track evolution is going to be interesting throughout the night as well. We're going to see the track reset back to 35% track state before the A main, but that A main of 75 laps will see a lot of exploration late on in the race as drivers try and work out where there's a little bit of grip, where there's no grip, and where they can potentially make moves. But for now, expect to see pretty much single file racing as drivers just try and consolidate positions at this stage of the night with a very fresh track.
Yeah, that will be important indeed. And there we go. Northway puts the hammer down from the inside. We get the green here for the first race in the modified Mayhem for the international region. And indeed, Northway takes that lead through turns 1 and 2. Wolf in behind him will slot into 2nd. And then it's a little bit busier further on back. Sheridan leads McMillan, but Thomas Hinz up to P5 is hustling the back of the Kinetic Avatar cars as we jump on board with Sheridan here down the front stretch to turns 1 and 2. And it is very, very busy here at the transfer spot.
It is. Hinz trying to make something happen around the outside and forcing McMillan to the inside, which may not be the preferred way around the circuit by the end of the night. It's very sideways. Nick McMillan couldn't get the car straightened up and then clips the inside wall. Hinz avoids him, gets on through.
Meanwhile, just on behind, Sam Harper and Matt Chalker have come together, unfortunately, and sent Chalker tumbling down to 8th place. And that will now put him well out of contention for the transfer to the feature. You're thinking at this stage he'll be going through the B main at this point. Hinz now has about half a car's length to McMillan, but McMillan looking low through 3 and 4. Try and get up the inside here as we jump on board the back of Hinz's machine down the front stretch and flick the rear end out as they come into turns 1 and 2. Lines, different styles, momentum attempts here. But Hinz running that mid part of the track seems to have slightly better entry and slightly better exit. That's giving him the margin he needs at this stage to hang on to that 4th place.
How much roll there is in these as they get it sideways through the corners. Being completely sideways isn't the preferred line. You want the cars to try and get as straight as possible so you can get the drive out of the corner. So notice the cars that do get a little bit more sideways at corner exits start to struggle with drive down the straight, and you can see that's why Hinz has now pulled a 3 or 4 car length lead.
Oh, McMillan is at least 45 degrees sideways at the moment down the straights. Finally gets it straightened up here as we jump on board with the number 8 machine into turn 1 and 2. But on the backstretch run last time around in particular, he was sideways basically the entire time. Gets it straightened back out once again, but he's now down low and has to really throw it in. Sam Harper closes up as a result there in the 52 machine as we're coming into the penultimate lap of Heat 1 already here. And now it's a game of can Harper at least get himself to P5. That will give him preferred position in the main, of course, as Harper, McMillan hits the fence. Harper into the rear of McMillan. They'll trade places. No, they won't. Spin for Harper off the back of McMillan. Unfortunately for both of them, that's disaster. It's going to send Dave Trevethan to the lead and sends him a lap down as Robert Northway at the front of the field, unchallenged, takes the race win here in Heat 1. He will take that pole for the feature as a result, as the man back in P4, Thomas Hinz, now quite comfortably takes that transfer spot at the end of that first heat. And, well, that went from a go to woe all of a sudden there as we look at the results for the first heat here tonight. Northway from Josh Wool, from Alexander Sheridan, and Thomas Hinz, your 4 drivers all through to the A main later on directly. Dave Trevethan, best of the sportsmen tonight here in Heat 1, but he'll have to settle for making his way through the B main and sorting out his spot for that one there. Matt Chalker behind him in 6th, Justin Teets in 7th, Sen Harper 8th, and Nick McMillan, unfortunately, with the spin, goes down a lap on Northway there at the end of Heat 1. So that's how that rolls. And, well, time to quickly walk you through the grid for Heat number 2, because they're already on that first pace lap. Cameron Dance, we thought he was going to have the pole for Heat 1. Unfortunately, has to settle for pole in Heat 2 here tonight. He's got Dan Stevens alongside him on the front row. Dean Mole in the 31 for Kinetic Avatar will be taking the inside of row 2 with Julian Mookie, the best of the sportsmen, here in Heat 2 alongside him in the 39 machine. Then it's Garen Batten and Stuart Elder out of 5th and 6th place for those two guys. Then Jake Fox and Simon Francis for 7th and 8th, and Corey Horder will be the 9th and final driver here in Heat number 2. So it certainly is a more sportsman-dominated group, this one. Of course, with the Heat formatting, these drivers here qualified in 2nd. The answer is 2nd, 4th, pardon me, 5th pole. You just got to get the gaps right there. Think about this: every 3 spots gets a transfer. So yeah, 2nd place, 5th place, 9th place, and so on and so forth. So our pro drivers a little bit lighter on here in Heat 2. As we come up to turns 3 and 4, Jan, we'll see this pace truck roll off once again, and then Dance will take us to the green.
Interesting battle there at the cutoff between our pro and sportsman drivers as we get the green flag for this one. And Julian Mookie trying to get moves done, and does early on Dean Mole. And here comes Batten trying to make his way through in the number 9, one of our Euro ring-ins. He's got that done on Dean Mole, who's in the wall, and he's struggling to get it straightened up.
Maybe a bit too straight even through turns 1 and 2, but he gets it recovered a bit there, but he's now got teammate Jake Fox, ahead of him now as they come through 3 and 4. Meanwhile, side by side, further on back between Simon Francis and I believe it's Stuart Elder as oh dear, Francis has found the fence and yellow flag out. Cameron Dance around all of a sudden there in turns 1 and 2.
What has happened for Cam Dance?
Several drivers all over the shape. We'll jump to the replay thanks to Virtual Racing School and see what we got here. So all neat and tidy here is Dance in the lead, Dan Stevens behind in 2nd, but no, that's all nice stuff. Stevens is close, and oh dear, Stevens is a bit too hot. Once, twice, thrice, and around goes the man who we thought was going to be easy on in the pole there, and then has the hard task of straightening that car back out. So there you go. Bit of drama for this one here. Sends someone who we're expecting to have a pretty easy way into the feature has now been relegated back to the rear of the grid. So that will slow things down for him. Now, another important thing for this evening is that the caution laps do not count. And, well, we are indeed not counting the laps here in the heat race, let alone the feature. So, of course, the more cautions we get, the longer the racing will be going here. So, chance for everyone to reset here in a sec and go again pretty shortly. Although Cam Dance to get himself that instant transfer to the front of the feature. avoid that B main. We'll go around one more time here, at least at Weedsport, before we go back to green. And single file for the restarts as well. Puts Dan Stevens in charge of the field. Lights out on the pace track. We are indeed one lap to green.
Surprised that we had so many laps under caution. Usually very, very quick the caution periods on dirt, but have taken a couple extra laps. We will get the green this time by. Dan Stevens will lead them to Barney's green flag. We will get the green right now. Here we go.
Back up the speed of Stevens. He immediately jumps to the lead, but it's Garen Batten and Julian Mookie side by side for second place as they get back up to it. And, well, they're not fighting for a transfer spot anymore, but they're certainly going to go at it as, meanwhile, Cam Dance is already up from P9 to P5 in the space of one lap here, as wide for Mookie through turns 1 and 2 will allow Batten through, and then contact between Mookie slows down Mole fraction, and how about that? Cam Dance is already back to a transfer spot, and he's coming with a vengeance up the inside of Mookie through 3 and 4, gets that job done. He's back to P3, and he's got another 5 laps here. Try and get himself back to P2, if not maybe P1 at the rate he's going here, Jay.
Well, I'm sure Dan Stevens will be feeling a little bit sheepish about the incident that he had, so there's every chance that Stevens could slow up and give Dance the win, but Dance now gets himself into second. The battle for the transfer spot is back on, although Dean Mole is struggling to keep the car straight on corner exit and get the power down to get the drive out of the final corner. Although, so is Julian Mookie.
That's very loose for Mookie down the front stretch. Mole now on the bumper here through turns 1 and 2. We've got 2.5 laps to go now, but Mole in the fence on the exit of 2. That immediately relieves the pressure from Mookie for a second there. Jake Fox almost into the back of Mole there as they come for the penultimate lap here now. And, oh, it's on, but Mookie might just have this now as Simon Francis. It's his turn to try and put some pressure on Jake Fox here as they make their way into turns 3 and 4 for the second last time here in Heat 2. White flag flies at the front, and here we are. The fight for second actually is on. Cam Dance not able to close up on Dan Stevens, and Garen Batten would like to have one last crack at that second place spot for the heat race, but I don't think he'll get it. Dan Stevens will get the win, and indeed Dance will hang on to P2 here in heat number 2.
What an action-packed race that was. What a drive to come back through the field from Cam Dance. We know how good he is on the dirt, but I think even he'll be pretty impressed with how that was to come back through from such a difficult position to steal second place in that race. We'll get the results up on screen. Stevens from Dance, from Batten from Mookie there into the A main straight away. Mole, Fox, Francis, Horder and Elder all have to go through into the B main.
Indeed, they will. So let's take you through the grid now for the third and final heat here in the international region for Modified Mayhem in the Majors Series this week. And Hayden Kirk, the pole man for heat number 3 in the number 24 machine, will start on the inside of Ryan Steele in the number 19. They get some more pro drivers here at the front of this one. And then Shane Bowen out of third place. We'll be sharing that second row with James Catchpole, the first of our sportsman drivers tonight there in the 021 machine. Phil Otto out of P5. Next to those sportsman drivers shares the row with Zach Kruger in the 35 machine. Joshua Robertson next up there in the 22. We'll be sharing the row 4 with Gavin Barber there in the number 11. And then it's Connor Brown who will be on row number 5 for this third and final heat here tonight as they make their way around. One more pace lap before we get this third heat underway. And, well, 2 heats down, 1 caution period so far. That's hopefully somewhat of a blessing. And, well, fast and furious. Hopefully we'll get through this third heat in good order and then see what comes next. Of course, into the B main for all those drivers who would like to sort the order out as well. The B main tonight will not be discarding drivers from the feature, but at the very least still sorting out who starts where for the big one later on as we come around turn 4. Trucks off into the lane area, but waiting on Kirk from the lead. He goes there nice and late through turn 4. We go green here for heat 3.
Very good start from Shane Bowen on the outside. Not quite, on the inside. Not quite able to hold the position there as Ryan Steele got back to third, and James Catchpole trying to get through. And I tell you what, he might be able to do it if he can keep it straight on corner exit. No! Too much power down, and now he's under pressure from Phil Otto.
Oh, wobble left, wobble right, and throw the steering every which way you can. He hangs on to P4 for now, but Phil Otto would like that spot indeed as we come down into turns 3 and 4 once again. And look at the end of, back and forth, almost soaring on the wheels. Meanwhile, at the front, Shane Bowen almost into the rear of Hayden Kirk for the race lead. That got a little bit dicey between the two front runners here as we jump on board with Bowen into turns 3 and 4. Up a bit higher than Kirk, but to get a better run off the turn. Unfortunately, looking a bit more advantage. Kirk this time by as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. The battle's still on, though, for that transfer spot. Catchpole hanging on, but Robertson is certainly giving him a run for his money here as they make their way round 3 and 4 again. Sliding up the inside is Robertson, but not able to get there this time. Catchpole has to leave the space. Leave the space as we go through 1 and 2. Up the high side and then slide
Nice
late
job.
for the Catchpole. That allows Robertson up the inside. Transfer made for now, but only halfway there. And I think, though, get the momentum and rhythm for Catchpole. He's going to have his work cut out to try and catch up his slide. And was that spin there? One of the cars at the back. Indeed it was. Gavin Barber, who registers number 11 in session, but custom number 25. That's what we've got going on there. Well, thankfully we stay green as your front three have broken away from the rest of the field, Jay.
Yeah, front three well and truly gone. They're all safe, and they're probably just all going to try and drive close together but not make too much contact. Make sure that they don't spin each other around. But that battle for the transfer spot, wow, it's on. Everyone struggling for drive out of turn 4. Josh Robertson there, almost looping it on entry into turn 1. James Catchpole had to get it so sideways to make sure he didn't make contact that he lost all of his momentum. Phil Otto lost all of his momentum on the exit. Yeah, they're all struggling for momentum.
Almost a slide Joe up the inside of 3 there on Robertson did Catchpole, but not able to open the door enough as Robertson narrow on the exit of turn 2. Compromised entry maybe into 3 and 4, we'll see, but who gets the car straightened up for the run down the front stretch? We're in the final lap now. Otto's looking for the outside run around turns 1 and 2. He's going to get Catchpole at least, but I think this will mean they get stuck fighting here as your leaders come across the line to finish the race. And meanwhile, the transfer fight is on, but it's going to be Robertson who will hang on in the 22 machine and transfer to the feature. Phil Otto sneaks through to P5, though. Give himself the best chance he can for that B main, at least improve his starting result in that one there. And Hayden Kirk able to gap out to 1.3 seconds at the end of the third heat here tonight. Ahead of Shane Bowen and Ryan Steele, who you can see nose to tail right to the end of that one there tonight. Robertson there in P4 hangs on to the transfer spot. Phil Otto able to sneak around the outside of James Catchpole there and set himself into 5th. 6th for Catchpole as a result, of course. Gavin Barber next across the line there in P7, and Zach Kruger behind him in P8. And Connor Brown, unfortunately, back in P9. And in fact, well, how about this, Jay? We're actually not going to go to the B main here at all tonight. It's actually going to take the results from the heats and set the grid for the feature just like that, it would seem.
Thrown me for a curveball because I haven't seen that before happen in any of our dirt broadcasts we've done in the past. So it definitely caught me a bit by surprise there that we've gone this way, but I'm okay with it. Set the field based on their results from the heats and get out there and get into the A main, which is a very long race, 75 laps. And of course, with cautions not counting as well, it could take a little while. Fuel can potentially be an issue if you don't start with enough fuel. We've got some info, as we always do, from a few of our drivers. I mean, you can't ask for much better info than from a former World Championship driver in Cam Dance. It says that depending on your line choice, your fuel burn can be different. So understanding how the track's going to evolve can then affect how much fuel you put in the car. So some drivers might start a little bit too short in regards to how much fuel they do. Other drivers might start with way too much. We've seen in other dirt races how fuel can really affect how the car behaves too.
Yeah, good points to make there indeed. Getting that number balanced out as best you can. Certainly going to be important as drivers now in the 5-minute warm-up session get some final preparation and practice in for this one. As unfortunately, a bit of entanglement down at the end of the front stretch. They all retreat back to the pit lane here at Weedsport as a result of that one there. And well, unfortunately, as someone who doesn't drive dirt, I'm not very familiar on the way things like fuel levels are change the dynamics. But well, hopefully here everyone's done their homework and knows what they need, at least on the.
I mean, a lot of
side.
drivers would have done a lot of homework. I mean, there's been practice races all week. We've seen some drivers do up to 4,000 laps of practice this week. So, not doing enough practice is no excuse in the major series, as we've seen previous. But yeah, drivers doing in excess of 4,000 laps at the top end of practice. But most have done maybe 400 or 500 laps of practice. So I'm sure someone within, or most drivers within that, would have done one race run. 200 laps minimum was the requirement to hit the grid this week. So making sure you've done your laps of practice, very, very important. Yeah, 4,000 laps for Rob Courtney at this stage. So well done to you for putting in that much practice. I don't know if I'd have the patience to be able to do that much practice.
I mean, that is quite something. I think divide that by 7, and you're still talking. That's 500-600 laps a day.
Yep, that's a lot.
In the region there, almost 600, but not quite laps per day on average. That's, I mean, yes, these laps here, they're going around at 15, 16, maybe 17-second intervals, depending on the track state here. But that time adds up, and that's going to take a while all the same, even if you are pumping them out pretty quickly here. And well, yes, I certainly don't think I'd have the mental fortitude to rack up that many practice laps, even if it was a short little thing like this. So indeed, credit to the guys there who are punching out that much practice. Even 200 laps, it sounds like a pretty terrifying amount until you remember that it's just got to break it down lap by lap, count the second. Well, don't count the seconds because that'll sound more terrifying. That many seconds in a race.
Yeah, it's not too bad when you think about a 75 lap race. You basically can do 2 qualifying runs, 2 heat runs, a B main run, and 2 race runs. That's your 200 laps. So if you break your practice down to try and do 2 race runs and then a couple of practice sprint runs, you've done your 200 pretty easy. So it's not as scary as it sounds.
Good points to make there, indeed. And well, 20 seconds to go of the warm up, and a very convenient arrival. Mr. Reese Gardner joins us in the commentary box. Well,
yeah,
unfortunately,
welcome,
missed the heats there, Reese. And
I'm so sorry, guys.
well, it's just in time for the features, so you know, not the worst thing in the world. And well, we'll take it from here. Jay Kennedy retires from the microphone for this evening with that one there. He'll focus on the camera work for this one here. And well, yeah, it's been some good heat racing so far. 27 drivers is certainly going to be busy here, though, in the features. They all line up for us in a moment's time for this grid, and it's time to walk you through it here in a moment as they start making their way onto said grid. So let's walk through the grid, of course, sorted by the order of the heat results. So P1, Heat 1 means that Robert Northway gets the pole here for the feature. He'll be joined on the front row by Daniel Stevens. After that, second heat win for him. And Hayden Kirk, the third winner in the heats tonight, of course, getting P3 for this one. We'll share that row with Joshua Wolf, and then Cameron Dance and Shane Bowen to share row number 3 for the feature tonight. Alexander Sheridan, after his third place finish in Heat 1, will start out of P7 and is alongside Garen Batten in P8. Ryan Steele and Thomas Hinz sharing the 5th row here tonight, and then it's Julian Mookie and Joshua Robertson to round out the top 12.
Let's go over the page and find out the rest of the field. It's Dave Trevethan starting alongside the American Dean Moll. Phil Otto is going to start alongside Matt Chalker in the number 76 with Jake Fox and James Catchpole. Rounding out the 9th row of our grid, Chaston Teets and Simon Francis are going to start 19th and 20th. Gavin Barber and Sam Harper on the 11th row, with Corey Horter and Zach Kruger rounding out the 24 cars. And we got Nick McMillan, Stuart Elder and Connor Brown rounding out our field. A nice big field of cars here at Weedsport. And they're coming around to take the green flag very shortly. Pace car will pull in at the end of this lap, and we'll get some very nice modified racing on.
Indeed, we've seen how 9 cars go here tonight, and the racing there has been pretty good. Warm-up was a little bit chaotic, but that's mostly because he had drivers coming out of the pits, whilst there were drivers on a lap as well. So we throw all 27 on the road here in a moment's time, And, well, we hope to see the racing stay green. As, of course, caution laps tonight not going to count towards that 75-lap total. So the less caution periods, the better, at least in theory, here for that one. Pace truck about to pull on into the lane. In the hands of Northway there on the inside in that lovely rainbow machine. He gets it underway, and we go green for the feature here at Weedsport.
Pretty good start there from Northway, getting to the inside of Stevens, and already Aiden Kirk trying, but there's number 1, Cameron Dance, going through on the inside, down the back stretch. Dance, very experienced in dirt oval racing. A little bit of a drama there a little further back, but looks like a clean first lap for the most part. Good to see.
It's very busy, though. A little bit of a checkup in turns 3 and 4 is, big checkup. That got Thomas Hintz there, and around. Oh dear, Thomas Hintz has picked somebody up. And that brings out the first yellow of the race here in the feature. One of our Connect Avatar cars. It looks like that would be... Where are you, good sir? No, unfortunately...
Car number 53, I think that's Alex Sheridan. No, yeah, that's Alex Sheridan there, who unfortunately was collected by Thomas Hinz. And, wow, that's a big shame there for Hinsey in the number 53. And obviously he tries his hardest here. Was very close for the championship last season with Cameron Dance, so that's gotten his night off to a poor start, his feature at least, as we check out the replay of that maneuver. So when they took the yellow here, we'll see Hinsey try his best to make his way past these drivers. Had a spinner in the background, but yeah, wow, he's having a lot of trouble keeping that car straight, and unfortunately Sheridan comes down on him there.
Yeah. From the angles I've seen here, and that angle maybe doesn't quite tell the full story, but, oh, geez, a nice solid whack to the rear for Hinsey there at the end of it all. But Sheridan there, a little bit loose as we jump on board with Hinsey's car. You can see here, on the way in, not able to get the rotation he wants, but then gets a nice bit of angle and drive off here. Sheridan's car, by comparison, did not get off the corner at all, and then almost flipped Sheridan over. Thankfully, though, all cars stay on their wheels here, and they'll be able to get back into it as we... Field forms back up once again. The lights are off on the pace truck, so we're about to go back to green here, Reese. And it's actually a double file restart, which is a bit interesting. I thought I was expecting a single file. No, double file back has been set as the restart type tonight. So, in the hands of Northway once again on the inside. He goes nice and early off turn 4. We're back to racing to get lap 3 started here at Weedsport.
Well, he's going to have to keep an eye out for Cameron Dance, because the Kiwi, his fellow Kiwi, has been on an absolute charge here. And you see that Dance is running that low line down the back stretch, trying to get a bit more grip into the tyres. There's a big groove that's formed around the circuit over the course of the night. Into turn 1 they go, and the top 2 are breaking away. Oh dear, car 24. It looks like there is a caution out thanks to an incident back in the field. We're going to have to dissect that one, Dan, because we didn't quite catch that.
Right under the start-finish line as we jump to the replay, thanks to partners of Virtual Racing School. You can see Hayden Kirk, unfortunately, being given a bit of a love tap there.
That was Daniel Stevens in the number 3 that gave him a tap there.
Indeed, it was. We'll check it out here and see. So Kirk up the inside of Stevens through turn 4. And then almost clear, but not quite. And as a result, they clip, and Kirk's got a little 360 off the wall, but that slows him up enough to trigger the yellow flag here. What you see here is we continue to watch the replay here on board with Stevens now. See, Kirk just comes across a fraction while Stevens hopes to keep the foot in it to keep the pace up.
And that's the thing about dirt racing. You don't want to get too near the wall because these cars are so unstable and they jerk to the left and right down the straights. So I understand what Stevens was trying to do there, just trying to keep it from getting into the wall. But regardless, Kirk trying the slide job on him and trying to get back onto the racing line, it just didn't work out.
Indeed, unfortunately, it did not. So, well, 2 cautions in and 4 laps counted at least. Well, this might make the feature race a little bit longer than we saw in the heats. And indeed, well, the heats we got through without too much fuss. Only 1 caution in heat number 2 for a contact and spin between Cam Dance and Daniel Stevens. But, well, we get back to it once again as the grid forms up, as they're already on the back stretch for the leaders, at least as the last couple of drivers come round turns 1 and 2. And Northway Third time on the inside. Cam Dance there, though. Ready, and we're raring to pounce as the pace truck pulls off. Northway goes early, but Dance is right with him as we go to the green.
Yeah, they are indeed too wide on the way in. Dance is going to go high here to try and use the cushion for a bit of extra speed, but oh dear, that's going to bring Wolf underneath him. So Dance might lose second place out of this one. Slide job almost completed there as Wolf does very well to get ahead of Dance. A nice bit of extra traction there as Stevens actually in the other number 3, Caution, is back out at the moment. I'm starting to think that might not have been Daniel Stevens that turned around Hayden Kirk just before. I might have gotten the car numbers wrong there. Corey Horter, the car to bring that one out in the number 23, and that's very unfortunate for him.
Unfortunately drops to the back of the order, but stays on the lead lap. Check out what happened to Horter here, and oh dear, that is very checked up. And
wow.
Almost 4 into 1. Unfortunately, that does not go. And indeed, paint jobs tell an unfortunate tale. All those drivers there, all from the same team here tonight. And look at that there as they come around turns 3 and 4 and just check up ahead, and then everyone piles on in. And Hayden Kirk, I think they're at the back for good measure. Unfortunately, entangled as well, Reece.
Yeah, it's a big shame for those guys. A little embarrassing there for all of the teammates to get involved with each other like that, but we'll get things going again, and we'll see what the drivers can do. We're only 6 laps into this projected 75-lap feature, and of course, caution laps aren't counted in the feature, so we'll get a full 75 laps of racing in. And if they keep coming out like this, then it's going to be a long night.
It will indeed. We do have an hour and 10-minute limit on the race timer, which hopefully at least sort of gives us a sense of finality to this one here. But we're already 8 minutes in. Pardon me, sorry, no, we're approaching 7 minutes into this race in terms of elapsed time on the clock since we took the green initially here. But, well, it is what it is. And we'll try again for our third restart of the race in a moment's time. So Northway once again has the inside, but he's joined on the front row by Joshua Wolf as Matt Chalker just gets out in time, I think, to avoid going a lap down. Northway waits this time, middle of turn 4, and Wolf was not giving him the space to run up high there. Here we go green, and no! Northway, everyone on the high side's around. Someone's up on their roof, and that looks like, in fact, number 3, Dan Stevens, is the one on his roof there, unfortunately.
That was a very messy start. Looks like the 013 of Jonathan Bean involved as well. Sorry, I might have gotten the car number wrong there again, but you saw that Wolf trying to pressure Northway there. It allowed Cameron Dance to get under him, and I think a little moment of desperation there as he flung it into the corner. Northway was still high, and that's involved half the field in that pile-up. It's Phil Otto in the 013. My apologies, everybody. I am a little late to this broadcast and still trying to get into the server, so I'm a little bit frazzled in the brain at the moment, but I'll try and keep track of where everyone is at the moment. I'll tell you what, there's plenty of drama already in this race. We are not even 8 laps into this one.
We are not indeed. And thanks to the timing of the yellow, despite being one of the first ones to be spun, at least, Robert Northway's been able to retake the race lead for the restart here. So, very lucky man is the number 8 machine, or maybe not.
Number 4.
Yeah, pardon me, number 4, apologies. What did I say, number 8? I saw someone else number 8. But so he's leading the field around here under yellow, but again, unfortunately, my timing screens at the moment, given that the yellow laps don't count, everyone who goes across the line gets sent back down the order. So indeed, Northway is still the leader of the pack. Daniel Stevens, unfortunately, having to tow his car back to the pits, not able to get himself righted in time before he went down a lap. So that bit of a struggle. Actually, speaking of that, actually, I'm thinking of that. The caution laps don't count.
No, they don't.
He might not go down a lap, although his time to get back out is running out here because pace truck already approaching turn 3 as the field forms up to try this one once again. It's going to be the Northway Dance front row. Take number 4. Someone is coming out of the pits. Stevens is just going to get there in time as we go back to green. Dance actually goes early here off of Northway, and in fact, Dance can get the lead around the outside of turns 1 and 2. Now, did he go too soon?
Black flag, he jumped the start.
Oh, Corey Horter on the 23 has also been issued a black flag. Although Horter is off and a yellow flag out once again. This time, though, Julian Mookie in the 39 machine down low in 1 and 2 is looking a little bit battered than bruised. Try and figure out what happened here on this restart with another replay, thanks to Virtual Racing School.
Looks like Mookie got checked up when the number 12 of Joshua Wolf was just going sideways in the corner. A little bit of lost momentum, and Mookie collected him, and it looked like he might have gotten some help from the 08 of Jake Fox as well.
Indeed, all kinds of checked up. A couple of drivers out of position as well, which won't be helping things in terms of their pace. And, oh, hello, we've got ourselves a bit of a... waiting for the pace truck. That's what was up there. I was waiting to see why on earth our field had stopped all of a sudden. Yeah, so it's the pace truck with the repeat calling it out of the pits and returning it back from the pits is taking a bit of time for the sim to actually do, because the little pit lane here at Weedsport takes the pace truck a little bit of time to circulate.
So Cam has gotten back to us in Discord. He's posted a photo of him getting the black flag for passing the leader. So that's why you don't want to be in first position as you're crossing the start-finish line on these dirt ovals.
Yeah, it just went a bit too soon. Northway opting to really wait it out on that particular restart. Try something different, and seems to have, well, in a sense, worked. What this does mean is that Dance, yes, has an outstanding black flag penalty that he can't clear yet. Interestingly, not actually, iRacing not even specifying why or what the penalty actually is going to be. There usually should be some text explaining what exactly the penalty will be. We'll have to find out and see how that plays out as the pace truck's about to pull back into the lane. Attempt number 4 at the restart here. Reese, this time though, will be in the hands of Cam Dance on the inside. We go green once again. Up lap number 9 here.
Yeah, well, Dance holds on to the lead for now, but Northway still getting battered around by this time Garen Batten, who's made his way up into 3rd place. Oh, but Batten goes wide, and that allows the 19 of Ryan Steele underneath him as they make their way out, and the caution is back out again. Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, there we go. Blown motor for Stuart Elder on the 115. Unfortunately, that is going to be his race basically done. And, well, if we keep going like this...
Yeah, Dean Moll and the number 51 coming together here. It was a very late dive from the 51 and just collected Moll, and that's what caused it all. Oh, man.
Everyone piles on in. Motor blown for Elder, unfortunately, there in the 115. Back to the pit lane he goes straight away. As we jump on board with another one of the drivers in the back of the pack. Indeed, this actually is Elder here, so contact before turns 1 for good measure. Knocks him wide. And down into turns 3 and 4 we go. And that unfolds basically straight in front. Tries to go for the inside. Bumps and pole. And, well, unfortunately, there really isn't much more Elder could have done in that case. Tried to get underneath it all, but unfortunately, these cars are quite large, to put it mildly.
Yeah, rather big ones. We're running the Dirt UMP modified here in the international region, and I guess this wildcard weekend of modified mayhem certainly living up to its name. We've only completed 9 of the 75 laps scheduled for this feature so far. And we're still waiting to see what, if any, penalty was actually given to Cameron Dance, because I would suspect that it's an end-of-line penalty if you get something like that, because you can't exactly pull into the pits and serve a stop and go on a dirt oval. But we'll have to wait and see as the pace truck comes in. Going to get another restart underway. Dance on the inside, Northway on the outside. Garen Batten sitting in 3rd. Let's go then. It's a nice start from Dance. Batten going to try and get underneath Northway here. And Ryan Steele is right with them too, as 021 James Catchpole just getting Sam Harper a little bit there in the rear, and that has created quite a big pile up in the rear, it seems. The caution is back out once more, and it looks like Alexander Sheridan is the one worse affected by that one. We'll find out what on earth went on there.
So, yeah, just struggling to be able to keep up with exactly what's happening. So a bit of drama down low between Hayden Kirk and an unidentified car, and then it bounces up Julian Mookie and Alexander Sheridan. A rather slow, painful spin, unfortunately, for those guys. Sheridan, the one around, up against the fence at the end of it all. Post-race, 10 seconds for Cameron Dance, we're advised.
Okay, so if the race keeps going like it is, and Dance isn't able to get away to a 10-second lead by the end, he will lose victory, and he'll likely be finishing way down in the field.
Yeah, with the way these keep coming, these cautions keep coming out, there's no chance to build any kind of margin, and well, that will hurt the result here. That's for sure.
It was contact down low with Chaston Teets that ended up taking Julian Mookie out to bring out that caution. We'll see then how the leaders execute this start, because there hasn't been many dramas up the front other than Northway getting spun around a little bit earlier. Really, all the drama has been happening back in the field.
It has been indeed, and yeah, unfortunately, quite the chaos. Yeah, indeed, happening further on back as we see the leaders. They get a good run, but then unfortunately comes a little bit undone further on back. So we restart once again. I've well and truly lost the count of what caution we're up to and what restart we're on, but Dance goes early up on the inside. He will lead into turn 1 completely uncontested.
Yep, Northway though goes very deep into turn 2. That allows him to be put under pressure by Garen Batten. Side by side for the lead. 021 of James Catchpole is getting himself really involved in this one. Oh, just getting past Joshua
spin up ahead at
Robertson.
turn 1.
Oh no, that's the number 9 of Garen Batten, and he was running third for the majority of this race and pressuring Robert Northway for second. So thanks to our friends at Virtual Racing School, we'll see what happened. Looked like a very deep entry into turn 1 from the number 19 of Ryan Steele.
Look at the key on the replay. So Batten down nice and low, pressuring Northway out of turn 4, down the front stretch, up in the mid-track, and just in way too hot there from yeah, it's number 19 is a custom paint job, if I'm not mistaken, which means that Ryan
It is
Steele,
Ryan
right?
Steele, yes.
And you know, Ryan Steele is number 19 in session 2. Just somehow completely blanked on finding his name. Doesn't help though, obviously, right now. My timing screen completely unable to keep up with the fact that the lap's not counting means that it's moving everyone around all over the place. And yeah, just in too hot for Steele. It's enough to turn him batting around, and does cause the check up there for good measure at turn 1. Thankfully, no one else too affected by that. But 12 laps on the board now. And we're approaching 20 minutes.
So we are about a sixth of the way through this race. And there's much less than that remaining in the race. And have a look at the damage to the 52 of Sam Harper. Not only has it taken off the front bodywork, but it's also bent the bar on the inside as well. A lot of these cars have been through a lot tonight, that's for sure.
They have. Yep, and the green flag's been delayed. Someone's out of position, which means that we're going to get another lap here under yellow as everyone forms back up, but that slows things down, unfortunately. So hopefully we get everyone in position to get this restart going as soon as we can. But, well, off to a rough start here in this one after the heats being nice and solid. It would seem that, well, we do have just a wee bit of chaos what with everyone here on track at the same time. Yeah. Although we are down to 26 on the road at the moment. Matt Chalker, though, does rejoin as I'm speaking. He will go back out and join the field, but yep, he will indeed in a moment's time.
Quite a few laps down, though. He's been rather disadvantaged as the pace car comes in, and well, just as we say that, there's a car being let by the leaders. So Cameron Dance will lead, and it's Corey Horter who's up high here and now is having to let everybody go. Massive sideways action here as the field is reasonably spaced out, but we'll see how long it takes for the next caution to come out. Cameron Dance from Robert Northway. Dance ahead by 0.6 of a second. Look at this gaggle of cars way back in the pack. Oh goodness, they're going 3 wide, and Dave Trevethan getting spun around. That's going to be another caution for sure.
Oh lordy, Julian Mookie up and over, gets back on his wheels at least, but more cars. I think that's our longest green flag run of 2 laps.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys have all got to get back through now and get ahead of the leaders, who are also now waiting for the pace truck to make its way around. But let's look at it all unfold once again on the virtual racing school replay here, focusing on Mookie there down low in the 39 machine off turn 4, and they piloted turn 1, and it's already unfolding. And then Mookie, unfortunately, just not ready for that car to spear back up off the inside fence and almost on his tyres, but well, almost on his side, I should say. Thankfully, though, lands back up on the rubber and can go once again as Dave Trevethan, driver there, into the wall, the inside of turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, you tried to get underneath Simon Francis and Connor Brown, but unfortunately, not much room there on the inside. So hitting the wall and unfortunately getting quite a few spins on. So that's what brought out the caution. And big news here, Race Control has decided to change restarts to single file. Hopefully that cleans things up a little.
Well, it should, in theory, at least allow the opening lap of the restart to calm on down a bit, because then you're going to really have to, although I guess perhaps it might encourage someone to fire it up the inside from a little bit further on back, and well, if that kind of domino falls poorly, that certainly will hurt a little bit. But we try once again. The truck off into the lane. Cameron Dance in the lead once again. Gets a very nice start on Northway once more. And there we go. First man looking to the inside is James Catchbowl in that 0-2-1 on Ryan Steele, but not able to make it work through 1 and 2. Meanwhile, whoa, careful, boys. The teammates in the back of the field. Thankfully, they don't get into each other actually, but oh, any more of that, and that could cause a bit of a catastrophe. And there we go, the yellow back out once more for an incident off screen there further on back. And Corey Horter is already in the pits. Chasson Teets looking a little bit out of place there, so we'll find out what's happened to him here in a second on the replay.
I think he's made contact with someone as he's come out of the pits. Oh no, he's slow. He was slow out of the pits. That's what brought out the caution. He went onto the racing surface and he nearly stopped. So iRacing went, okay, car slow on track, let's bring out the caution. So that's a bit of an embarrassing error there.
Well, yes, that's it's not ideal, to say the least. The pit exit cones are a fair ways back here at Weedsport, so yeah, just crept in a bit too far. And well, we will try once again for this one. As you see here, Simon Francis, the third driver to pick up a iRacing black flag. They're in the number 10 machine, but has a number 9 on the side of the car. Totally not confusing at all there. But, well, that does mean there are now 3 with the black flag. Dance, Francis, and Corey Horter in the 23 machine.
Garen Batten, meanwhile, making his way back out of the pits. Unfortunately, he's lost, might stand to lose a lap here, having to let the field go by. But we'll have to see.
That's the thing. He won't lose a lap.
He won't lose a lap, yeah, because we're under caution. I was just concerned that he might have lost a lap under racing conditions. But Garen Batten comes back out here in the number 9 car, and he will be in 23rd place, last on the lead lap, so he has gotten away with it.
He has indeed, and confirmation from Director Jay Kennedy that the black flag for Francis there was due to passing before the start-finish line on the inside of turn 4 in the front stretch. So we try it once more. I believe we might be up to restart number 8, because we seem to be getting about 1 to 2 laps in. So lap 16, about appropriate to probably suggest 8th lap here, as we take it around turn 4 once again in the hands of Cameron Dance to be the restarting driver. Oh, they go, hit the leader, has it gone, boys?
Oh, they managed to get it done though, but there's a pile up coming out of turn 4. They've sorted themselves out though, so we stay green. That was a bit of drama there with the number 7 of Shane Bowen, and oh goodness, Connor Brown and Gavin Barber almost coming together there. Hayden Kirk and Thomas Hinz battling, as well as Nick McMillan here to the outside has gotten another black flag here. The next driver to fall victim, overtaking on the inside potentially there.
Turn 1, Barber's up in the fence.
Oh no. Well, Gavin Barber, part of the Middle Finger Racing crew. We'll check out what happened to him. It looks like he actually got into the wall himself on the way into turn 1. He did get a bit of help around, but he caused this incident by himself.
Up against the wall at start-finish line, and yep, grinds against the wall. Simon Francis there. Just the finishing touches there, unfortunately, there for Barber. Gets it back off the wall without too much fuss, but time enough that the yellow comes out once more. So we got 3 laps in. Let you know, pardon me, we're on lap 18, the yellow got called, so they only got 2. So the laps tick on, but we are approaching 27 minutes into the race. And, well, this one is certainly going to take a while at this rate.
Yeah, it's looking increasingly likely that we won't be able to get all 75 laps in this feature, because these green flag runs have been so short. The drivers have just not had a chance to get into a rhythm yet.
No, it's a bit surprising. I mean, yes, 9 drivers to a heat is obviously, it's a lot different to all 27 here in the feature, but it's as if the caution and the patience and what we were able to see, the good stuff that we saw in the heat races has come away, has sort of disappeared, and it's now every man for himself, and every inch of attack that can be made is to be exploited here in the feature. But as a result, we're getting a lot of contact and spins and yellows as a result. Pace trough back off once more. Dance goes early, and a big gap for him as we get this race back underway.
0.8 of a second, the gap back to Robert Northway, and now the pressure will be on from Ryan Steele as it's side by side back in the field. The 24 and the 8 exchanging positions there. McMillan and Kirk fighting over the last position in the top 10 there. Oh, and okay, and that looks like, was that McMillan going into the lane? Serve a penalty. Had to come into the pits
wall
for
grind.
That. Oh, goodness.
Oh, is it
Big
Stuart
fat
Elder,
wall
I think it was?
grind.
We stay green though for now.
No, we don't.
Spin in turn 1. That will bring out the yellow once more.
Ah, dear. So, car at a standstill. Corey Horter and it looks like Gavin Barber potentially coming together there. What happened here? Looks like there was a car getting into the wall just up ahead, and Barber ended up collecting them. Phil Otto making a little bit of contact with the 88 of Chaston Teets and having to slow up in turn 1. And we'll get the, oh goodness, yeah, there's the wall grind that you saw a little bit earlier. But yeah, it caused a bit of a check-up, and in flies the likes of Gavin Barber, and that's what turned him and Corey Horter around.
And I mean, yeah, everyone's trying to carry the momentum wherever they can here so far. I'll have a look at against Stuart Elder, the 115 machine that ends up 2 wheels across the line on the fence. And then, yeah, everyone's backed up, and then they come flying on in further on back, not ready for these cars to be sitting up high and off pace, and well, that brings out the yellow real quick as a result. So the clock ticks on once more. We are a couple of minutes away from halfway in the race on the duration front, and yeah, it's going to take a bit of a miraculous turnaround from here, it would seem, for the lap count to significantly improve at this point.
It's interesting because I remember, I can't quite remember if it was last year or the year before when the international region raced at the Chile Bowl. It was quite similar to this. Obviously a much tighter track, but in dirt midget cars. And we saw a lot of the same stuff. The leaders would get 1 or 2 laps in at the front, and meanwhile, back in the field, they would just be making mistakes and crashing into each other all the way through, and we ended up having to do a lot to get through it, but we're green again, and Dance will lead once more into the first turn. Still got that 10-second post-race penalty hanging over his head. It is on for 4th as James Catchpole and Joshua Wolf are together into turn 3, and Wolf doing very well to get that done. That was nice and clean there. James Catchpole having to yield on the inside. Let's try and get a rhythm in here, boys. Let's hope that there isn't much drama. Oh, there is. There is. In turn 4, Alexander Sheridan, along with Gavin Barber as well. It's the other car involved. There's Nick McMillan, unfortunately. They've all come together in turn 4 somehow. We'll have a look on here from Barber, and oh, okay. Right. That was McMillan. No, that wasn't McMillan. That was oh yeah, it was McMillan. Somehow went for a flip in turn 4.
All right, so on board with McMillan here. Comes up into turn 3 and actually clips the rear of one of the cars ahead, and then gets given a bump and up and over on the concrete. Holds up Mookie there for a second, but behind him it then causes a massive checkup, which then parks 2 cars on the road. On board, well, there's Gavin Barber, so we're checking it out from his perspective here. Comes around turn 3, and we're all slowing, and stopped, and bang, and bang.
Yeah, this is why you need to have your foot always poised over the brake in dirt racing, because you never know when something like that might happen in front of you, and you need to check up. Issue is, though, the fact that the surface is so loose and you have to slide through the corners. Once you've set up your trajectory through a corner, there isn't much you can do to alter it, especially in these modifieds.
Yeah, no, it certainly is the challenge of racing dirt. That comes with the terrain, I suppose, is what you could say. Bit of a klutzy one, though. But just again, we try once more as the pace truck's about to pull on off. Cameron Dance has the lead of the field once again, because he can not be challenged, it seems, off these restarts. They go early. Well, Dance goes late. Everyone else tried to preempt him here.
Yellow's out instantly.
And right.
What on earth happened there? I think it might have been another car coming out of the pits. Gavin Barber was trying to exit the pit lane as they were taking the start. We'll see if he moved beyond the cones when the green flag flew. Pace car comes in, and yeah, he's beyond the cones, but he has to stop to let everyone go. And instantly they're like, okay, listen, it's not safe enough for it to continue. I think the drivers will need to learn their lesson from that. If you're coming out of the pits, you need to make sure that you aren't beyond the yellow cones that denote the pit exit. Otherwise, you will bring a caution out if you have to check up to let everybody go.
Yep, and because it came out so quickly, everyone's here waiting for the pace truck to make its way back around, because the truck never got a chance to get round the pit lane. So there we go. Pick up the field once more.
Made room for it. Nice. I mean, it doesn't mean much because, cars phase right through the pace vehicle in sim, but still, I thought that made for a very good image there. Everybody just letting the pace truck go through the middle.
Pretend it's real, and that way,
Yes.
avoid any contacts there. But it does mean that we're almost at the halfway point on time, and we are most certainly not at the halfway point on laps at this stage. Just sees a car trying to get past the leaders. Corey Horter sneaking on by. Looks like he's getting a lap back that he had lost when he was the yellow was thrown.
He's still on his 16th lap while the leaders are on lap 23, and we've switched to time remaining here. We're coming up on half an hour race time left, and we have only completed or just under a third of the available racing laps in this feature.
Yep, it's it's gone from, I guess, promising in terms of what we were seeing in the heats to unfortunately sort of breaking down like this. And while that's all been happening, we've actually been getting back to a restart because we didn't get held up with a delayed yellow this time around. So we go green once again. The field is super spread, and in fact the race leaders are coming up on the back of the field already. We're going to see people going a lap down as one of the middle finger cars, Gavin Barber, retreats to the pit lane, unfortunately, once again there in the 25 machine.
Indeed. Well, we'll see what the leaders can do to try and make their way through here. Dance just putting the move there on Corey Horter, who got out of the way promptly. Chaston Teets and the number 8 of Nick McMillan are going to be their next targets, and there's a lot of pack racing going on in the midfield. That's a car spinning, Matt Chalker, and it looks like, yeah, there we go, 115 as well, involves Stuart Elder. Oh dear.
It's all kinds of messy on the back stretch, and as a result, it's actually caused the entire field to park it up to try and figure out how on earth to, well, part one, get around it, but two, let themselves sort it out, because that was all kinds of bedlam. As we'll check it out on the replay, you can see it starts here with Elder, and unfortunately, Stewart, all kinds of, does the full 360, gets Jake Fox there on the outside, gets clipped again. Real bad racing car down the bottom there as well.
Of course, that is a team name we should highlight.
Yes, that's a team name. No, I certainly no intentions of disparaging drivers live on stream.
The modified, well, you say a real bad racing car. I think that the modified is quite a good racing car. It's a lot of fun. I've done a few races in these things in the past, especially when the big block came out. That was fantastic, and that will also be raced this weekend in one other region.
The Americas division.
Indeed, they're going for the big engine, the big banger. So, looking forward to seeing that. Thanks to our friends at Global Sim Racing Channel. They'll be broadcasting the Euro region as well, who will be running the 358 modified.
They will indeed. As well, the last time out earlier in the year, Reese, the wildcard saw different tracks with the Porsche Cup car, and yeah, this time around, different vehicles, all at Weedsport across their regions. Delayed yellow once again is not going to help things here in terms of the time remaining. As someone's out of place, apparently. That needs to be rectified before we'll be allowed to get this one underway once again, as we watch the field pace around behind from the view of Cameron Dance's leading car, for now at least. Although, of course, Dance has that outstanding black flag due to the jump start when we were doing double file earlier on in the race, and a little bit of a connection moment there for your provisional race leader. Hopefully this time we'll get the restart going, though.
Hopefully. And it's a shame that Dance has that penalty hanging over his head, because remember, he had such a brilliant charge up the field in the opening green flag run. Started 5th and now leads from Robert Northway, and the power is put down. Racing once more at Weedsport as we come up on 31 minutes remaining in the session. Let's try and keep it clean and give each other space, everybody, and try not to slide around too much. The 08 of Jake Fox is in the lane meanwhile, as Robert Northway is starting to work the cushion here. He's got to try and keep it stable on the outside. That's a position lost there for James Catchpole, letting Ryan Steele and Hayden Kirk by him. 0-2-1 meanwhile. Catchpole trying his best to hold on as Dave Trevethan is right back in the pack and has received a black flag. Unfortunately, not the best executed of starts there.
Yellow.
Oh dear.
Lapped car has been struck. And the what says number 51 on the side, but is apparently number 20 in session. Connor Brown, unfortunately, up high down the front stretch, and did kind of look like he got a bit bowled into at a glance. So,
oh yeah, he got completely rear-ended by Joshua Wolf as he was coming through. So you'll see it here. He lets almost took the leader out, but lets them through without much incident. He's slow on the front straight, and wow, just got cleaned up.
yeah, speed differential not prepared for that one there, it seems. And it brings out the yellow as a result. And, well, yeah, time certainly continues to seem more and more likely here at this one. Reese, one of the things that we were talking about, well, Jay brought up before the race started, is these fuel loads and how they'd play that one out here, because if I'm not mistaken, these cars, a bit like things like the dirt sprint cars, won't have a clutch. So they'll need to have some kind of throttle in it whilst they roll around, and well, time certainty is likely what's going to happen here, and everyone else putted around here at very slow pacing speeds. Every little bit of every lap that they're doing here, it doesn't count towards the lap tally. It means that it's fuel being burned away if they were pretty marginal. Though, of course, the clock might just save them at the rate we're going here.
Yeah, just might. That's a game that a lot of drivers play when it comes to dirt racing. Underfuel their car, assuming that there will be a good few laps under caution where they could save a bit of fuel and you know, keep it time certain at the end of the day. Well, pace car will be coming in momentarily, and we'll get another restart on. Which restart? Which number? No idea. But there's a bit of a concertina in the back as Cameron Dance was holding them up a little bit there to get things going. And they're into turn one.
Defensive one.
Yeah, he's under a lot of pressure now from Wolf and Hayden Kirk as well. He's worked his way up. Oh, no.
Trevethan ground.
Yeah.
And that's going to be maybe the 17th yellow?
I'm not counting anymore, mate.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I kind of get the feeling I could probably find out for my own curiosity's sake.
So,
all right,
well,
I will find out and then keep it to myself,
right.
because yeah, we probably don't want to know.
Yeah. Tell us post-race. It was a bit of a messy restart back in the pack. This is what brought it out. Very hard charging driver on the inside, just turning. That was Julian Mookie, who turned Dave around. Very unfortunate there, but, you know, there was a speed differential, and it didn't look like Mookie had much chance of making the corner there. I understand his thinking here. Oh, you know, there's been a checkup up ahead. I can make up places here, but there's just no space on the inside of turn one there. A lot of dirt tracks don't have walls on the inside, but Weedsport is one of them.
That it is indeed, and means everyone's going to have to bring it on down. And okay, yeah, that's a terrifying number of cautions that we've already had. I will keep that one to myself. Okay, no, we're on the 17th caution of the feature race.
Okay, so you were pretty much bang on the money.
So I'm gonna keep that off to the side.
Yep, Trevethan coming into the lane, I think, to get his spare car in order. A few drivers already have taken their spare car at this point in the race.
That they have.
Seeing from Cam, almost black flags for everyone. There's now 6 drivers in the session that have black flags. Simon Francis, Cameron Dance, Jake Fox, Dean Mole, Josh Robertson, and Dave Trevethan all have outstanding black flags.
That they do. So, the list continues. And, well, unfortunately, ain't too flash. So, we're approaching 25 minutes to go here at Weedsport. We'll go green once again, this time by. And, well, look to try again here with lap number 31 75 once this starts again.
If we go green to the end, and it's pretty much impossible that we will, if that by some miracle happens, then we will get all 75 laps in before the end, as it's about a 16-second lap here at Weedsport. Green flag flies. Cameron Dance off to a great start there, but Northway still under pressure for third. It's a nice pack of cars there, and it's a long line. They're just bumping and grinding and what have you, as Wolf has to make room here for Hayden Kirk on the inside. Kirk making the move for third. Will he be able to pull it off?
Well, nice run around the outside initially, a 3 and 4 for Josh Wolf, but up too high in turn 1, unable to make it stick, and place taken by Hayden Kirk. He's going to try on the outside of 3 and 4 again here, Reese. Start working that cushion, and indeed, he actually gets his nose back ahead as we come into turn 1, but car spun Trevethan in the 5-2-1. We do stay green by a miracle's chance, but Cam Dance is now... No, there we go. There it is. Caution back out once again.
Okay, so what was it that brought it out? Because it looks like Trevethan was potentially not involved in that.
Sam Harper, Dean Mole, one of those two potentially checking up before... Sam Harper, maybe. We might want to check in with him. Yes. Looks like he has had a slowdown on spin just before the yellow came out. So this is Trevethan spinning just as everyone shows up on the scene. And then in a moment's time, we're going to get the yellow here as these guys all piled on into turn 3 and 4. There's Sam Harper, and I believe it's just a moment before that. It's when the yellow is thrown. So we'll check out 2 here once more as we keep it on the replay.
All right, so he's got some space in front and behind as he tries to make his way around, but he gets turned by Shane Bowen. That explains it.
And spits the car back out into the road for good measure. And, well, yes. Harper with a very mangled front end. We didn't actually mention he's going to go to the pits at some point soon and get his car fixed, but in that particular instance, that wasn't on him. There, getting clipped by the front end of Bowen directly behind him there.
Well, Harper will exit the pits now with a completely fresh car, brand new front bodywork, after we'd already seen the front of that car very beaten up just before. All right, everyone's forming up now behind the pace truck, and it looks like the lights are off, so we're going to be getting another green flag here, Dan. Let's see what Cameron Dance can do to hold off the advances of those behind him, but it looks like Robert Northway might have the potential victory at this stage.
Yeah, it would seem that way. Dance has got the restarts down pat, and he goes once again down the front stretch, opens a nice little gap here for about half a second into turn 1, but well, half a second is absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things, with a 10-second penalty to his name that will need to be cleared. Josh Wolf back up into P3 around the outside on Hayden Kirk once more, so he seems to be really wanting to work that high line. But a lot of the drivers at the front of the field for the moment now working the low side of all of the turns here as we look here. Shane Bowen and Zach Kruger fighting over 7th and 8th with the caution out once again.
Connor Brown. Oh, and Robert Northway's collected him there on the front stretch. So that was contact between Brown and Chaston Teets on the exit of turn 4. Brown was coming up the circuit, wasn't quite by Chaston Teets, and they got spun there. So that brought out the caution, and as Brown tries to get back going, in comes Northway, and, well, where do you go from that when there's a car sprawled across the track?
And more to it, competitor up the high side of Northway had nowhere to go. Pretty much couldn't get the car to get down to the left because, well, that's where Connor Brown was driving his car, and as a result, it's completely mangled the front end of Northway's car. And lap traffic's been, for the most part, has been fine, but well, that there, an example of probably not what to do in that circumstance. We'll see how that makes Northway's car handle. For now, he's staying out on the road at this stage as the clock continues to tick down, and we've almost got less minutes remaining than we do. Actually, is it more concerning that we almost have less minutes remaining than we do have cautions on the board, or?
Yeah.
Other way around.
I think it's I think either way you look at it, over 20 cautions is pretty concerning.
It's a good point to make there, indeed. Well, it looks like we're going green this time by. Pace truck's about to head back into the lane once more. When does Cameron Dance go? The answer is he's going to blink. And wait. And wait, boys. And wait. And nice and late off 4.
Northway got into
green.
the wall. Oh,
Yeah.
gets bumped.
Close. Very close. Josh Wolf wants that
Yellow.
spot. Meanwhile. And, yep. Yep, yellow's been called before we could even get that one going again. It's just absolute pandemonium for them. So you can see here, gaps in the mid-pack, and look at this, everyone checked up at the start-finish line. But just we get to turn 1 with Shane Button. Oh dear.
Back into the back of Kruger. Oh.
Simon Francis there in that custom number 9 paint job. Gets into him there. Yeah, 9 is now 10.
9 is 9 and 9 is 10. He's got his fellow number 9 there up ahead, but he had no time to react, did he?
Yeah, no, Shane Bowen's unfortunately gone in way too hot to turn 1. Has found another car for good as a result, and then being the one who got spun. So black flag check. We're currently up to 7 drivers with the black flag outstanding in this race. Yeah, this is going to get pretty interesting. So the first one on that list is indeed your current leader, Cameron Dance. The next one back in the line, well, the next car number is number 8 of Nick McMillan. And, okay, Jake Fox in the 08 indeed also has a black flag. He's back there. Simon Francis, number 10, has a flag. The 22 of Joshua Robertson. 31 of Dean Mole. And the 521 of Dave Trevethan. All carrying blacks. As, yes, well, try and get this all sorted out and get a restart going, I believe, at the end of this one. Lights out on the pace truck says we should be aiming for another restart once more.
We should, and I think the reason Robert Northway's decided not to come into the pits yet is because the green flag runs are so short and we are getting so many cautions that he probably can't afford to put himself too far back in the field by taking taking an actual pit to get his spare car. We should highlight, though, that Zach Kruger has done a fantastic job to work his way up through the field as we go green again. Kruger started 24th and he's up to 7th now. So we are away. And Cameron Dance getting off to a very strong getaway once again. Northway trying to hold off Joshua Wolf for second. But oh no, Dave Trevethan, he's really struggling, isn't he? Can't keep that rear end under control. Loses a spot out of that just about. And side by side on the front stretch here. That is Simon Francis. Oh, I know Alexander Sheridan on his inside there.
Meanwhile, up the front of the field, getting into more lap traffic here at the moment. And your race leader is having to go to the high side now to avoid the traffic down low. Out of turns 1 and 2, and the yellow's out once again. Joshua Robertson around. Oh my goodness, it's an absolute pile-up on the exit of turn 4.
Oh yeah, it is. So this is going to take some dissecting. Looks like Matt Chalker really overshot the run into turn 4 and ended up collecting a couple of cars out of that, including Gavin Barber, Dave Trevethan, Nick McMillan as well involved in that.
Just a little car park on the low line of the circuit there.
Well, Jay Kennedy has told us that we're past halfway in terms of laps completed, but we've only got 16 minutes left, so don't know how much that means as we get another view of that pile up. A grand total of, I'd say, 5, maybe 6 cars involved.
Yeah, certainly a strong, a large number of cars there entangled in all that. Right, looks like more drivers picking out black flags. Yes. We saw Chaston Teets' name flash up for a second, and Sam Harper also collecting a black flag. They're your latest 2 new additions to the tally here, as the madness continues. It seems as well, 18 cars still on the lead lap here as well, Reese. There was a bit of radio chatter there from race control, something to do with lap cars, but well, majority of these drivers, they're all here on the lead lap. There's only there's a handful still circulating at the back, it seems. A lap down now that needs to be mindful, apparently, of blue flag signals.
The only ones counted as a lap down at the moment are Nick McMillan, Gavin Barber, and Matt Chalker, according to my timing at least. Corey Horter has been in the pits now for 18.5 minutes, so I don't think he'll re-emerge back onto the racetrack anytime soon. Looks like Jake Fox and Phil Otto might potentially be a lap down as well. We go back to green flag. The top 18 cars are still on the lead lap, just confirming. My timing was a little bit strange, but Cameron Dance still leading, as he has for the majority of this race so far. But Robert Northway dealing with a damaged car. Let's see if he stands a chance at losing second here to Joshua Wolf on board here with the Kiwi. And looks nice and clean there up at the front of the field. And again, they might be coming up on lap traffic sooner rather than later, and that could cause some dramas. Car coming into the pits just up ahead, that's Chaston Teets. Potentially to get some damage repaired there from the last caution. And you see that they're already on the lapped cars.
Yeah, this is the crazy place now, it seems, as they make their way around turns 3 and 4. Your leader, Cameron Dance, up the inside of one of the cars there, but there's actually enough dust cloud kick up that I couldn't tell you who it was there at a moment's glances. Meanwhile, you see here this mix of drivers, these guys fighting here for their spots on the lead lap, but the more they fight...
Oh, comes together with Cameron Dance. That has really slowed him up, and this is going to create a huge pile-up, I'd think. How are they making it through this? Lots of dings and bumps. And that looks like it's brought Hayden Kirk into third place. He's taken advantage of all of that. And Joshua Wolf is trying his best to hold on to some semblance of position here.
Well, yeah, that was a lot of elbows out that somehow didn't go yellow. I think by virtue of the fact that no one actually got turned around, and we mostly kept enough momentum going around here. So cross our fingers and we hope to keep on racing. Chaston Teets, he's left the server, and well,
yeah,
apparently I speak too soon. Jake Fox will drive that car into the wrong side of the lane, and I think that might just be a white flag raised there by Jake Fox. Yeah, for that one there. I think that was our longest green flag run, quite a long way there. As we see what happens again. James Catchpole up the inside. It's just enough contact that it sends Fox the wrong way around on circuit.
Yeah, it looked to me like Fox got a bit of over-rotation on the 08 as well. That sent him down into Catchpole, who I think was taking a reasonable line there.
Now, once again, Pace Truck's taking its sweet time to circulate around here. The pacing speed is so slow here at Weedsport that it takes an awfully long time to pick up the leaders, and actually, okay, a bit of confusion apparently about where the drivers need to be for the Pace Truck. So it's out of sequence with the leaders, and now we've got to get this all sorted out here. This is gonna take a while, I think. Probably a delayed restart once again.
We shall see. We're under 12 minutes to go now, and we've completed 46 of the 75 total laps for the feature. So if we can make it to lap 60 by the end, I think I'd be reasonably happy, but we'll have to wait and see. Not much time left to get that done.
Yeah, let's see here. Things are all kinds of crazy. Pace Truck's gone off into the field. Order is all kinds of messed up here. And
the green flag flies.
The green flag will indeed fly.
No, the caution's been thrown again manually. Manually. Michael Lett in race control has thrown the caution flag. It somehow put Joshua Wolf into the lead with James Catchpole in second, Kruger third, Hins fourth, Bowen fifth, Stevens sixth. Our race leader up to that point, Cameron Dance, is classified all the way back in 14th. What on earth has gone on there?
Well, I've just seen a mass black flag clearance from race control. In fact, race control opting to... So I think the issue there was that people were waiting for the pace truck under the previous yellow, were then told to go by iRacing. We've got drivers all over the place trying to figure out where they need to be and who needs to be leading who, and it's quite literal pandemonium here at Weedsport. And with that mass clearance of penalties, everyone who's gotten an issue with a race start procedure has just been given a breath of fresh air. But figuring out who needs to be where at this point, this is going to be a mess and a half. It looks like though Joshua Wolf, no. Who is going to be the one in behind the pace car? Julian Mookie. Now,
okay. Dance back in 8th, Northway 9th, Kirk 10th. So those are the guys that should be in the race lead.
Let's see here. Drivers... Again, timing screens, because the caution laps do not count. Having all kinds of pandemonium. It's a game of, yeah, where on earth are we meant to be? Who is meant to be the one? So something in that previous cycle was completely broken the order. We've got Alexander Sheridan out of order on the bottom. The pace truck's going to pull in here again. And, oh, this is messy. As we go green once more, there's cars on the inside of turn 4.
Oh, God.
We go green, but for how long, I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Well, caution has been... The order is completely messed up at the moment. That was an automatic caution that just came out because cars were slow on the racetrack, letting people through. And there's a whole lot more black flags that have come through as well, but they're instantly cleared by race control. Mole, Mookie, Sheridan, etc. So everyone in the field is now without a black flag. This is a heck of a job for Michael Lett in race control, having to sort out, you know, who was in position where when the caution previous to the one before this one came out.
Yeah, it's just absolute bedlam. Trying to figure out what on earth. Yeah.
I mean, up here in the comms box, you know, we don't have much of an insight into what's going on in race control right now, but man, I am having a lot of trouble trying to make head or tail of what's going on here.
I'm just trying to listen in now to the in-game commentary from the drivers out here in the server and see if I can glean anything. Because, yeah, it just seems that, yeah, everyone's been thrown for a loop and a half.
This could potentially cause some dramas post-race, I have to say, considering, you know, all of this that's gone on in the last 5 or so minutes. Where we will be getting a finish within 7 minutes' time, but is that enough time for them to sort everyone out and put them back into their correct positions? Is that enough time to actually call a result from this race?
I mean, honestly, I think the biggest problem that we've got here at the moment is that all these yellows are controlled by iRacing, and drivers are just trying to follow the instructions that iRacing is giving them. But
yeah,
the field is all kinds of messed up, and it looks like here that the short length of the lap here at Weedsport and the slow pacing speeds is causing all kinds of drama. It looks like this is going to be the way it is here for now. Joshua Wolf, the man at the front of the field, with James Catchpole in second, Zach Kruger in third. Thomas Hint and Simon Francis round out your top 5 as we go back green with 6 minutes and change.
Okay, well, Shane Bowen on the inside, a bit slow. There goes Cameron Dance and Robert Northway up the inside of these other cars. Dance and Northway in 11th and 13th now for the time being as they try to work their way back up here. Wolf currently leads by 0.8 of a second. Oh, easy boys. Cameron Dance, oh, gets almost turned there and a car turn behind them. That's Dean Mole on the 31.
Yeah, you might well want to go watch Cameron's lap before the yellow got thrown. That was all kinds of utter bedlam. Because they're now that far out of position that Cam's pace and Northway's pace is just so much faster than everyone else here. As we watch this lap here from Cam. So we're looking for the inside on D Mole, but Shane Bowen's slow on the inside. Sort of slows that whole effort up. So to hell with it. 3 wide into turn 3 as Bowen gets trapped by Mookie on the inside. Then up the inside of Mookie, which then spins Dance into Northway, and then bumps back into Mole. But then Mole here, contact with the 19. If I remember correctly, the 19 on my list is Ryan Steele. And that is what triggered the yellow. And, well,
indeed.
Yeah, it's just words. Yeah, words escape me as to what on earth you can get here. And I mean, yeah, 4 minutes to go. The maximum number of laps we're realistically getting in here is probably going to be around another 10. But that implies some serious green flag running to even make that, I would wager. So it really does feel that post lap 45, everything has come off the rails here.
Under 5 minutes left then in Modified Mayhem, the international division of the Major Series. Mayhem is certainly the right word here. Joshua Wolf will take the I don't know which restart.
25th.
And we're away. 25th. Okay. Fantastic. Away we go then. Catch bowl.
Instant contact.
Oh, Northway involved. And that looks like Bowen and Dance as well. Dance moves up, gets past Northway again.
Oh, slide job from... Oh, it's caused a yellow.
Yep.
And
Dance and Northway. Dance and Northway make contact. Northway gets spun around.
It's just, utter chaos. Another replay, thanks to Bertrand. So you can see there, so that time Northway way too hot into the rear of Bowen at turn 1. Checked
Bowen
up
actually
by the 9 of Aaron Batten. And then just ahead of Northway, it all unfolded. Hayden Kirk in the 24. Slide job, and then more contact and pace truck once more.
Well, mercifully, we're coming close to the checkered flag here. Wolf still leading from catchpole from Kruger. That's your top 3. Thomas Hins in 4th. Sam Harper rounding out your top 5. Daniel Stevens has found his way back up into 7th place as of the time the caution came out. Robert Northway was in 11th when the caution came out, and I think he might resume that position. He will indeed. Back ahead of Hayden Kirk and Cameron Dance.
All right, one more lap on the yellow here for this caution. And then we try again. And we will have a grand total of about 2 minutes. Call it a minute and a half by the time they bumble around here to the start of this one. So 90 seconds or thereabouts when we go green again. We get in, well, if it stayed green, we get about 4 or 5 laps and bump this thing up into the mid-50s. But I'd be putting odds on we see another yellow here to end things for this one. I cross my fingers and hope that's not the case, but we'll see. Joshua Wolf takes us away for the 26th restart of the race and leads into turns 1 and 2. And the field, mostly single file, but there's a bit of double file around the back edge of the top 10. Northway looking high on Stuart Elder. And that will surely be the end of it all here tonight.
Surely it will. That was massive. Elder getting sent airborne by Robert Northway. We'll get another look at it here. So Robert up behind trying to find his way past, and well, Northway was really making tracks around the outside, wasn't he? But unfortunately, Elder, oh yeah, Northway bounced off the wall and into Elder. That's a real shame to see. Oh, and Shane Bowen comes sliding in as well. Well, under a minute remaining. We're coming up on 30 seconds left on race time, and it looks like we are going to get a checkered flag, but everything is under review by race control at the moment. So we are completely unclear as to who the actual winner of this event will be. But as the time ticks down further, Dan, looks like Joshua Wolf is going to be the one who crosses the line in first place.
That he will. Just going to be a question of what is done about the calamity that was the that restart there, about 45 or so. Joshua Robertson, in the meantime, has picked up a black flag for him, unfortunately, and well, at the moment, Robertson is, well, down a lap, so that really won't hurt him all that much. And indeed, well, we're not seeing it on the flag stand, but time expires. The race is effectively over, but we are reminded of a lovely little bug. Oh, there we go. Barney there is waving the flag on that end.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't quite see that last time around, but we should see, hopefully, in the field of greens, to just do another lap here to make sure. And indeed, Barney is waving the flag on my end too, as they all come across the line. Make sure these results are classified as such.
Indeed. Interesting to see that on the in-sim timing and my timing, Robert Northway was vaulted back into the lead, and not quite sure what has gone on there. And we should highlight these are 100% unofficial results. Northway from Kirk, Mookie in the first place in Sportsman, with Steele and Sheridan rounding out the top 5. Mole, Elder, Dance, Wolf, and Catchpole your top 10.
Well, yeah, how about that? And then look at your next 10, Zach Kruger and Thomas Hins and Sam Harper, Simon Francis, Daniel Stevens, Garen Batten, Shane Bowen, Dave Trevethan. And in fact, look at that there. Look at all these drivers all of a sudden a lap down. These guys all certainly weren't a lap down before the green flag flew for that final time. I got to Garen Batten, Shane Bowen, Dave Trevethan, and Josh Robertson, the last cars, I believe, are out there on track. And Phil Otto, I think the first one. Actually, no, Phil Otto, pardon me, is still out there in the 013. He is classified 20th, apparently. Nick McMillan, Connor Brown, and Matt Chalker also circulating to make it 23 finishes. Gavin Barber, Jake Fox, Chasten Teets, and Corey Horter, I believe, all retired from that one there before they took the checkers. But, well, it's something that will need some review later on, to put it mildly. But it does mean we now turn our attention to what comes next race, and we head back to the road, which hopefully might be a little bit chaotic, but it's going to be one handful of a combination for the drivers here in the Majors Series when we cover the next round in early September there.
Indeed, 10th of September at 5:45 p.m. Australian Eastern. They'll be driving the NASCAR trucks at Motorsport, the Silverado, F-150 and Tundra. And this is one that I've been looking forward to for some time. I always like seeing stock cars on road courses, especially in the trucks. So we'll see how well it goes.
Well, after a good bunch of heats, bit of a crazy feature, which then descended into anarchy. I think that'll do it from us here tonight for Modified Mayhem in the international region for the 10th round of the Major Series here in 2022. Well, hope you enjoyed the heat racing action. Hope you enjoyed the confusion there at the end after 27 cautions and a lovely bit of drivers all out of order from what we could tell. My name's Eddie Eamon. Reese Gardner alongside me here in the commentary box. Jay Kennedy on production, as always. On behalf of everyone here at SimSpeed, thank you for being with us, forever how much of it was. Racing resumes on SimSpeed, at least tomorrow morning, with the next round of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup qualifying series and the iRacing Grand Prix series, as we watch a couple of these drivers use the infield for good measure here. As we wrap up and say thank you all for watching. Hope you've had a good time with us here despite the craziness. Once again, big thanks to the Major Series, for putting on the event and for supporting Rise Above the Disorder as the charity for this round, I should say. And I believe that'll do it from me. Any final words from you, Reese?
Bring on Motorsport. I am very happy to see that we're going back to road course racing, because this is a tough one. I've got to respect the drivers for sticking it out, though.
Yep, it did. It did indeed. So I think that will certainly do us. From all of us here, thank you very much for watching, despite the chaos of the feature. Hope you can join us for the next round of the majors, or whenever SimSpeed next goes live with our various other series and leagues here that we're covering across the weeks here in 2022. Thank you once again. Bye for now, but not forever.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's got with the outside of both of them. Maloney. Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up to him. Oh my God. Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get involved.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, here we go. Oh no. That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?